Hello and welcome into Finley Stadium as it is Tiger football season coming up, really. I guess it's not Tiger football season. It makes me feel like it being back in the booth. We are here for the spring game. It's always a fun time for the spring game. Of course, the way head coach Jake Russell does it here, makes it a community event, makes it fun, filled with all sorts of different things in the end zone. I know or in the far side over the way, there's a bunch of different food trucks. There's some inflatable stuff. We've had, I think Taylor County dance team is here to do some stuff. There's a lot of things happening today. Baseball's playing just across the way against a rival, Lindsey Wilson. They're up 13-0 right now. But it's spring football time, Khalil. I'm so glad to be back in the booth with you and watching these Tigers out on the field.
Colin, we are so back, temporarily, but we are so
We're
back.
so back.
We're so back. I'm so excited just to see these guys out here. I know springtime is a time where they say you earn your money for sure, so a lot of these guys are going out there and trying to earn their keep for the next fall coming up. So this is a big time, but also you talk about the community aspect of it. It's just a great time to, honor your teams. Other sports teams have been having such great seasons. You want the community out here, alumni support. So it's just a really good time just to build on the program, build on the tradition here, and it's awesome to see everyone out.
And I tell you, there's a lot of people back here. I know you said you were recognizing some old teammates. We had one of our old athletic trainers, Josh Williams, was back in the house. Always good to see him. He's got a job up at Bellarmine. He left us to go be with Bellarmine, which
Rude.
Sad about, but that's okay. We still have one of the best athletic training staffs in the nation, recognizing the women's basketball team there for all of their accomplishments this past season.
Got to call a few of their games this season. Always a great time watching them, getting to talk about them a little bit, but an awesome season, young team, and a lot to build on there, too, for them.
And I tell you what, we talk about building. There's not many teams that have built more than Campbellsville, and we'll get back to that here shortly after we take a break for our prayer and our national anthem. We'll be back with the spring game here on the CU Sports Network.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him. Every day he's hungry for something. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then it kind of starts to work itself out.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Mason.
Thank you.
A place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Welcome back to the spring game here on the campus of Campbellsville University. They changed up the colors on us, Khalil. That is, I'm going to blame Dominique Lewis on this one, but he's got a lot going on, so he can only shoulder so much of the weight. Just a little less communication than we would have liked. They actually switched to gray. So you're going to see maroon and white. It's actually maroon versus gray. They changed out there. We actually have Oklahoma drills O versus D. The Group 1 will be Trevin Griffin, Cortland Lamar, and Josh Etienne. For the Maroon side, for the Gray side, Brock Schultz, Kamarian Robinson, and Jalen Brock, as we'll cover the Oklahoma drills here, and we'll just sit here and talk about some Campbellsville football. We've got a lot to talk about, Khalil. Let me tell you, a team that in the second season under head coach Jake Russell goes 9-2, and really, if you think about it, and in all ways, shapes, and forms, 2 plays dictated a season that would have been otherwise perfect, Mid-South Conference Championship bound, and national playoff bound.
Yeah, it was we were talking about it a little bit, and then how much it was reminiscent of that 2017 season I was a part of, losing 2 games, and those 2 games being such an integral part in you missing the playoffs, losing to Georgetown, losing to Lindsey Wilson. And that team last year unfortunately suffered the same fate, and we unfortunately missed out on the playoffs, which is a big deal, but it's also an amazing season. 9-2 in your second season, and you got a lot to be proud of, a lot to hang your hat on to. So we were super proud of the Tigers and what they put on the field, and there's so much effort, so much great moments, and so much to just really really love and enjoy about this team, and you just look so much forward to this spring game, but also the fall season coming up here pretty soon.
The point scoring is going to be a little different here, obviously, because they're going to score points off of competitions. So they're getting 1 point apiece, offense versus defense here, Maroon versus Gray. So as you see those points go up on the scoreboard, you're looking at points for not only the winners of each rep in the competitions, but there will also be different scorings in terms of offense and defense when they get into sort of a game mode situation. They'll do that a little bit. It'll be running clocks for quarters, and they'll split it up by doing some different things, like these drills that you're watching now, Oklahoma drill being ran. I know these guys are super excited to pad up. They've been doing a lot of 6 a.m. practices. There's not a lot of people out at 6 a.m. to watch them, and now they're a pretty decently packed stadium here, full of alumni, as you mentioned, full of family, full of recruits, everybody around Tiger football that's just so excited for Season 3. As Coach Ford talked about it, he said he would write a book on last season and call it an inch and an overtime. Luke Shepperson had an incredible game. Let's just earmark it first by saying he had an incredible game.
Miss him.
But one fumble right at the half-yard line at the end of the game on the road at Lindsey Wilson brought the first loss, and then an overtime loss against Georgetown that were they number 10 in the nation at that point or higher?
I think I'm not sure that it was 10. It might have been like 13 or something along those lines.
Yeah, they were either top 10 or top 15. I can tell you that. They were very highly ranked at the time. And the Tigers went to overtime, and just one miscommunication from the back end led to a quick Georgetown score, and then a fumble from Trey Bass kind of closed things out on that game. And, but this team came out, fought really hard against the University of the Cumberlands to win that last game by so much and try to at least get themselves in the name for the playoffs. And they narrowly missed the playoffs, I believe, either the first team out or the second team out, either way. But it's one of those things that really, when you come down to it with the NAIA, it's always kind of a who's who. And this team just hadn't been there in a while. They had to start from a little bit lower than they would have liked and had to claw their way up time and time again. I mean, I think it was they were 6-0 or so before they got ranked in the receiving votes. So it took them a while to even get into that conversation. They finished as the 21st team in the nation in the final ranking. So a top 25 team in the nation at the end of it all, 9-2. You lose by 2 scores essentially in those games. And, this team is biting and clawing at this chance here coming up in the fall.
Yeah, and I think by the NAIA standards as far as, making the playoffs and what that looks like, it makes sense. Every non-conference team that made the playoffs were either a one-loss team or they were undefeated going into it. And then you had 2 conference teams or 2 teams that won their conference. I know Pikeville that was 5-5, I believe, and then another team, I think out of Kansas or something along those lines, they were around 7-3. So, of course, that stings stings a little bit. That hurts a little bit when you are 9-2. You know, you're a top team in one of the hardest conferences in the nation, and then you can't make the playoffs, you know, over a team that goes in 5-5 and 7-3. But again, it's about winning your games, and you're in a tough conference, and that's also something you can hang your hat on too. So, of course, those preseason rankings really did hold us back quite a bit as far as like getting votes and like, is this team really serious? You know, what's it look like? But that also plays a big part in now what the team is doing and scheduling out some, you know, tougher non-conference games coming up for this next season.
So now we'll see the teams trot out for a little more traditional play here. So we'll pick up with some play-by-play coverage of this maroon and gray scrimmage. 15-minute running clock here. Maroon team will start with the ball, and Max Ward will be the quarterback here for the Maroon squad to start this drive.
Yeah, nice little quick game out there, getting Max comfortable. Looks like we're going into a Wildcat now with Ashton Ocker.
It's good to see Ocker back out there as he takes one, fakes the handoff, gets the defense stuck, and an easy first down pickup for the speedy Ashton Ocker. Good to see him back out there. Got that knee all taped up. He had a nasty little contusion there for quite some time to end the season. Didn't get to see him finish out that season with that amazing wide receiver core. Good to have him back out there.
Yeah, it was a tough loss for sure. And you know, that knee injury was really tough for him and kind of felt like it came out of nowhere. But, you know, looking healthy, gets around the corner right there in that Wildcat and picks up a nice first down.
Ward has Archella Smith in the backfield with him. Hands off to Smith and blown up. That's number 94 in gray. That's Jermaine Hobson, lineman out of Louisville, Kentucky. Comes up with a big loss there on first down. You take a look at the replay, just blowing right past the offensive lineman, losing the helmet in the process. You can be fired up about that one, defensive guy yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I watch a few people in the football realm in discourse, and that's a mess to play up type of play right there. That's what you want to see. Relating back to Chris Sims and how he likes to identify defensive players, defensive linemen. Do they mess the play up? Do they make things difficult? Maybe they don't always make the play, even though Hobson did right there, but that's an awesome play for him.
Ward takes the snap a little low, comes up with it, throws out to the sideline, and that's going to be too high for his intended target. That is number 3, Jeraylon Johnson, a wide receiver out of New Albany.
Yeah, Jeraylon Johnson, I believe they call him J-Ray. I believe he's from KCU, a transfer, just came in this spring. Nice to see him out there. Hits the corner with a double move right there. Gets open, but the quarterback, he and Max Ward are a little off.
If it sounds like I'm struggling with the names, it's because I am. It's a very small print on my paper, so please bear with me if I mess up a name. I'll try to get it right. Khalil more than likely can correct me. He probably worked on the package for all of these guys academically. Ward has his man right across the middle. That's a gain. He'll get it out to about mid for a fourth down. It was number 14 for the Maroon. That's Caden Tiemann. I'm going to get that name right this year. I got it wrong for half the season before his dad was able to correct me. Yeah. So I'll get it right this season from the jump.
Tough name. It's a tough name to just figure out. Plus, it's his last name, too. You don't always refer to someone as their last name. Even though that was how people referred to me when I was actually playing ball.
Baker?
Yeah, I was always called Baker.
Okay.
Baker! Yeah, every time. I don't like saying that. Gives me PTSD.
Lopez stepped out to punt. Just a dry fire kickoff here. Lopez, of course, one of the greater athletes here on this squad. You wouldn't think it. Everybody always they can say what they want about punters, but I tell you what, we have probably one of the more athletic punters in the nation here with Lopez. He can boom it as well as get it done with his feet, and we've seen that time and time again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. As far as just, the body type, he's a very, athletic-looking, thick punter, and, he looks like he can play some receiver if he wanted to a little bit, or maybe some DB, but right now he's punting, and he's one of the better punters here in the nation, so we're happy to have him, of course.
Gray squad out there. That'll be number 0, Roland Hazard Jr. And a little bit of a Wildcat look here.
Can't wait to talk about some of these guys here, new guys in the spring especially, but nice to see Justice here getting in the QB run game, something different. You see Hadder take the snap, your QB going in a jet motion and taking the handoff with a toss for a little bit there on a nice gain.
And we talk about some of these guys, Justice Law we got to see in a decent amount of spurts there as a true freshman last year. I know it was a thought of, are we going to kind of keep this guy's year, preserve it to where he can redshirt, or are we just going to keep splitting the reps? And he ended up continuing to split the reps as a true freshman. He made some of the regular true freshman mistakes that we saw, but overall, certainly a dynamic player there at quarterback behind center for the Tigers, and definitely a little bit of a fresh look as you have Jagger Gillis, a little bit more of a pocket passer, and now Justice Law, who can certainly get outside the corners.
Yeah,
get moving.
Talking with Coach Russell, earlier in the season and the QB situation and what was happening, it's like, yeah, we'd love the red shirt Justice. He's just kind of too good right now, and it gives us a really good option as far as switching up the play calling in some games, but also just a really good option as far as a backup QB in case anything ever happened to Jagger.
Of course, we saw a good play there from number 40, Keelan Lamar. Glad to have him back on this defensive side here. Law back in shotgun.
So we won't see too much of Keelan Lamar and Ellis Reed today. Maybe one drive and then just get him out. We kind of know what we're going to get from those two guys, all conference guys.
Law checks over to the side. Woo! Sends a defender sliding across the turf. That's number 15, Kamarian Robinson, Smurf, as they call him in there, making some moves happen on the Maroon side.
Heard Smurf's had a really good spring. He's just a really consistent player. Gave us a lot of good plays last season. You just know what you're going to get from Smurf, and you want a reliable player. Not only great in the locker room, but just on the field as far as a really good player, stable. Right there, you have Gunnar Hollis in the flats covering there. You want to see him make that play. Just couldn't come up with it. Smurf makes a good run after the catch.
Robinson steps back behind Law. Man across in motion. They hand off with Robinson on the carry. He won't gain anything, couldn't find the edge, but certainly a tough running back. Well known to stick his head in there, get a little messy.
See them going with some run game right now. Did we talk about the players of the black jerseys? Obviously playing for both teams, yeah.
We haven't talked about them yet, not just yet.
Well, if you do see them in black jerseys, they're playing for both teams, so you'll see them getting reps on both sides, and that's what you see for the offensive line right now. That's in for the gray team.
Yeah, your offensive lineman, your punter, your kicker, and your long snapper will be in the black jerseys. They'll play both squads. Law pulls, and just over the head of his intended target. That's number 89. That's Jarrett Finn, listed as a halfback.
And that's one guy they want to see a lot more out of as far as just being able to give some depth as far as, playing that HB halfback, tight end role for them. They had Jack Busey a lot last season. He's still back this season. Gave him a lot of good reps, a really good tight end for us, but they're looking for that number 2 guy to kind of step up and hoping that could be Finn right there.
And I tell you what, this offense has lost a few key pieces. They lost Andre Seiler. They lost Luke Shepperson, who set the all-time receiving record in that game against the University of the Cumberlands, who they beat 47-7. And they kept asking, where's the record at? Does he have the record? And they kept throwing to him until he finally got it rewarded for such a great career here. Law rolling out. What a throw on the move. And hits the hand of number 17 in gray. That's Chris Thornton, wide receiver out of Oakland Park, Florida, trying to get in the mix just a little over the head. But I tell you what, that's what Jake Russell and Hunter Brown love out of this guy, and that's what Justice Law brings to you. He's got a cannon, and he's got some pretty good accuracy on the move.
Yeah, he is an athlete in every bit of the word. He can create with his legs. He has a lot of zip on his throws. Right there, you see him on those last 2 throws on the run, being able to get it out there a little bit. Still not able to connect with his receivers on those past 2 throws, especially too. But again, a really good look from Justice. He has the part. It's just really getting experience, getting those reps. And I think the spring was really helpful for him that too, because of course he got Jagger out for the spring. So Justice is getting all those, you know, #1 reps, and he gets a lot of different looks, working on a lot of different guys, and just being, I guess, a little bit of a leader of the team and growing into that leadership too. So I think it's all helpful for him.
And I'll tell you, I'll go ahead and go through some of this spring game scoring for you. If you're wondering how these points are being put up on the board here by these two teams, for the offense, a non-skill player touchdown is worth 10 points. A touchdown's worth a traditional 6. A field goal is worth 3. 2-point conversion is worth 2. An explosive play, which is a 30-yard pass or a 20-yard run, is worth 2 points. The point after attempt is worth 1. And a first down is worth 1. 25 in Maroon there on the carry. That's Archulus Smith, somebody that really started to make himself known towards the end of last year. We'll get to him in a second. The defense scores 14 off of a defensive lineman touchdown. So they scored essentially 2 touchdowns off a big D lineman touchdown. Touchdowns worth 10 for the defense. A turnover's worth 6. A drive with no points is worth 4. A 3-and-out is worth 2. And a sack or a tackle for loss is worth 1.
Ooh.
Misses his target teaming over the middle there. And, of course, Jagger Gillis, somebody he's not going to play today. He's been he had back issues last season and was playing through those a little bit, and he's taken this offseason to kind of get his back right. I think he was undergoing surgery on his back, and they're not really playing him much in spring, but expect to have him back by the fall.
Yeah. On that throw right there, a little RPO for Max Ward. I think the pull is the right decision. You need to see him come off that first read right there, try to fit it in, but I think you had number 6, I believe it's Trey Berry, coming in underneath that little screen right there. He needs to come off that first read and hit that one.
Ward, I'm not sure if that hit off of his man coming out of the backfield or if he just slipped and lost it. That's one of those frustrating ones if you're Max Ward.
Yeah, tough drive.
Take a look at this replay here. I really can't tell if it went off of number 22's shoulders or not, but either way.
Good catch from Josh Traylor there on the sideline.
But Archulus Smith, we talked about him really quick, and last season he kind of came in and really made a big difference down the stretch for the Tigers. I think he really made himself known as well in that Georgetown game. He was always a big piece, and then just getting him back, I think everybody kind of had their questions around him. Is he going to be the same as he was? And he certainly was. He was a beautiful addition back there in the backfield with Trey Bass as well.
Yeah, a really big spark plug for us. You can put him in. He's kind of your explosive back who can make some really big plays, and he definitely did last season. So it's awesome just to get him back. Continue to add to that depth in the backfield. Of course, CA's gone, but you still got Trey Bass coming back, who you will not see get a lot of reps, if any, today as well, too, just to keep him healthy and get going. But it's nice to see Archulus just kind of now have a full, spring to himself, get immersed into the offense. It's not having to go too crazy into the fall and get pushed in there, but this spring's really helpful for him and players like him especially, too.
Last year saw 7 offensive players earn all-conference, and then 4 defensive players earn all-conference, which, honestly, if you watch that defense, you feel might be a little bit of a snub to the Campbellsville Tigers because that defense was locked down all season long.
Yeah, a new quarterback in there, Peyton Cope, number 18, since Easton Barlow.
High snap, dump down to number 20 in gray. He picks up the first down. Easton Barlow coming around. That's a good way to handle it there for Cope on a high snap, able to jump up there and still drop it off on the way by.
Easton Barlow, transfer guy out of Carson Newman. Here in the slot, just adding to the depth and receivers. And that's one thing they're going to have to fill. We haven't talked much about the receivers yet. You talked about missing some guys, and there's some more guys you didn't list that we could definitely mention, too.
For sure. I didn't even come close.
The list goes on, and it's crazy. You talked about Seiler, of course, Shepperson, but then you don't even talk about, we haven't gotten to Nate Monroe yet, and Chris Thomas, of course, too. And, so many guys on both ends. We have a lot of spots to fill when it comes down to it, and a lot of guys who need to step up.
Hits Barlow here. Guys out front. And another first down for Barlow. Tell you what, Coach Chris Lane's got this offensive line in order. They were out running a blockade for Barlow.
And that's what you want to see. You want to see your offensive lineman get out in space, pick up some bodies. That's so important in the screen game. Just really executing. It's a big part, and they can really open up some lanes for the receiver to run through, especially. And Barlow looks like he's running hard here and lowers the shoulder a little bit as well, too. One guy we haven't talked about a lot, that's Roland Hazard, number 0 at the bottom of your screen here. Transfer out of California. A really good guy I saw on film not too long ago, but the spring he's had has been really good, too, and should be a really big part of this offense as well.
Cope throws an interception. So that'll be 6 points for the defense. For the defense in Maroon. And that's number 28, Gerard Johnson. Of course, we saw him make several big plays last season as well.
Gerard's a stud.
I'm not sure if Cope just couldn't see him over all the bodies in the way, but
yeah, especially the way we like to play defense. Sometimes you put a lot of guys in a box, you back some guys out, and right there he's right in the hook, the curl slant window for Cope, and it plays it perfectly that way too. And Gerard's a stud. He's had a really good spring, transfer out of Arkansas State, and he looks apart too. If you look at the body, that's a built safety right there, and right there he's playing in the box and makes a huge play for the defense, and that's kind of the theme of not only the season for him last year, but even this spring, the defense making a lot of plays and putting a lot of pressure on their offense.
So there's several different things going on here, and another recognition happening. They're recognizing the university's men's volleyball team for their Mid-South Conference regular season championship. Head coach Alfonso Alvaro in the mix there, of course. Does a lot around here for the athletics department, as well as coaching really just an absolute heartbreaker there.
I don't want that
in the Mid-South Conference Championship.
Man.
They lost in some extra points in the 5th set, so really almost double overtime, it seems like, if that's how you'd want to phrase it.
I got to head there for the game, and they were – I want to say they were down 10-13 and somehow came back and made it 15-14. Had one more point to get to end the match, win the game, and then Georgetown brings it back, and we lose 16-18 in the 5th set. It was a tough one for sure. An amazing game just to watch, though, and be a part of. I was telling Coach afterwards, I don't know how you can coach. I don't think I can ever coach. I'm not coaching right now, and I'm on the sidelines just stressing, and I feel like my hair is falling out, and it's just a lot to watch. So, kudos to him, kudos to his guys for a great season. Unfortunately, missed postseason as well. I think just one of those teams that were right on the outside. They were 13th, and you only take 12 teams to postseason in that way too. So it's just a tough way to finish the season, of course. But they put out a lot of effort, and that's really all you could ask for when it comes out to it. And a lot of great guys, and he's done a really good job of this program, especially this year.
This Tiger team, we'll go ahead and actually they're going to start a little bit of a new tradition here for the Tigers. They're going to try to do a Hey Jude sing-along. And, I'm for it.
Right on.
We're going to try some new stuff around here. Certainly not against it. And we'll talk about next season's schedule. I don't know if they've even released it. They may have posted it to Campbellsville Football's Twitter account.
They did, yeah.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you haven't seen it, I'll be glad to tell you about it.
It just has the logos of the team, so I don't even know who they are for some of them.
Come on, Khalil.
We're playing St. Francis. I know that for sure.
He knows what he's been told. So on August the 30th, that's when the Tigers will start their season, the campaign for a Mid-South Conference championship and a playoff spot. They will start out on the road against the University of St. Francis. That was a playoff team from this past season, so they're already starting it out with a little bit of a zhush. They're going to get some power in there. They're going to try to get it going against a playoff team, an established team that's been really good. I know they've lost some players respectively, but everybody loses players.
Yeah.
So we've lost players. They've lost players. So they'll start out with the University of St. Francis. Then we'll go back on the road to Weber. where
brutal
we will
travel.
we will sit in a probably about 110-degree storage container and hope that our equipment doesn't get too hot again, just as it did last time and shut off on us. So you all missed some of that game if you were listening last year. We got back out and had to hydrate, had to get some attention from the trainers, honestly. It was hot down there in Florida. And then they had an open week on the 13th. That's going to be taken up, I believe, by UPike. The University of Pikeville. That will be a night game. That'll be at home, so it'll be good to be back at home. Last year saw a super exciting game against UPike, as everybody probably had them counted out. The Tigers were able to roar back about 50 yards in the final 14 seconds to win that game and start their season. We see another drill happening down there. That's the man maker drill, as Caden Tiemann and Deshaun Washington are going at it. Deshaun Washington thought he had it in the bag, and Tiemann started pulling back. They may have called that one a tie. The second matchup will be against Trey Bass and Jacoby Miguel. On the 20th, Thomas University will be here in town. And then the 27th, we have a bye week. On October the 4th, we'll play the University of the Cumberlands here at home. That'll likely be homecoming, so if you want to go ahead and start making your plans, please do so. Be here for homecoming. Always a fun time around CU. On October 11th, we have another bye week, so Tigers will get nice and fresh before they hit their home stretch of conference play, where they'll play Lindsey Wilson here at home. So the Battle of Highway 55 will be back at home. Here in this next matchup in the Man Maker, you have Caleb Lawrence and Easton Barlow going at it down there. October 25th, we will be on the road at Cumberland University. On November the 1st, we'll be down in Alabama at Faulkner University. Then on November 8th, we will have Senior Day here at home. The final home game of that season will be against Bethel University. And then we will be on the road to finish it out at Georgetown College. Hopefully, we'll have the Mid-South Conference Championship locked up by that point.
Yeah, one can only hope.
But there have actually been some changes in Georgetown, as they've lost they haven't lost their head coach. There's just been a couple position changes. Their head coach moved up into athletic
director?
He's either something like that or a vice president in athletics for them now. So he's moved a little higher up the ranks there in the athletic department. And I believe their defensive coordinator got promoted to head coach. So a little bit of a shakeup in Georgetown as well.
Yeah, a lot going on there. You even had a couple alumni from our wrestling programs take on the wrestling programs there.
Yeah.
So good for them, of course.
Jake Smith taking on Therick Gathright in the Man Maker here. Matchup 5. We get set here, that being the final Man Maker drill. We head on to the second quarter for the Maroon versus Gray. Once again, 15-minute running clock and dry fire kicking as necessary. We'll get start for a little bit more traditional here. How much do you like of this little mix-up here in the spring game?
How much do I like it?
Yeah.
It's fine. I was just talking to, I think it was Ramos the other day, head athletic trainer for football. It's like sometimes football drills are just some of the silliest things.
Yeah.
They're just all over the place, but it's good competition, it's good spirit and fun. And you want to see guys go out there and compete and just go out there and have a good time. So it's always good to do that. And spring games are, again, just a good time to get people out there too. So it's not to be as serious. Of course, you want guys to get good reps and have fun out there too, but you got to switch it up sometimes and just add more to it. So, it's a good time.
It's always a little bit of a different look from what you'd probably consider as a traditional spring game here. Yeah. Always mixed in. Of course, guys, playing hard, but also trying to be a little cautious. Believe for the Maroon, this is Trent Cutright, quarterback out of Lexington, Kentucky. Will be behind center here in shotgun.
I think it might be Zach.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's number 8. That's Zach Underwood, a quarterback out of Campbellsville, Kentucky, behind center. 8 and the 9 are always the worst numbers to read for football. They get bunched up, and it's hard to tell exactly who it is. Tackle for loss there puts the Maroon offense behind the line.
Yeah, we got Zach out there. Got Montel Richardson at running back, number 22.
Another Campbellsville guy.
Going to try to get through a few players here. Got JoJo Starks at receiver at the bottom of your screen. Jackson McClendon at H-back.
Double pumped it. Still rolling, and he gets taken down. Good effort trying to buy time, just nothing downfield. Of course, Coach Ford's defense has it kind of locked down back there.
Yeah, they fly around a little bit, and I think these DBs, especially this spring, have really shown up in a big way, and especially the defense has too. So, you got a lot of DBs back there. They make a lot of plays, or a lot of good depth, and Zach just couldn't find his way on the back end.
Number 53 in gray, Keandre Weathers there to bring down the quarterback. Underwood brings his guy across. Quick hitter at about the 50-yard line, and he gets blown up. Still makes the catch. Number 12 in gray, Deshaun Washington out of Houston, Texas, delivers the big hit at the 50, and that'll bring up 4th and long. So Lopez will head out to punt.
Good job getting that hood right there. Deshaun Washington, one of Coach Ford's guys out of Texas, has a lot of ties to that Texas area there.
Beautiful booming punt, puts him right at the 2. Lopez already looking in full swing here. 37-27, the gray team leading over the Maroon.
Let's look at some of these linemen. Number 78 got Dane Montgomery out there. Number 72, we got Hunter Headley. 73, we got Therick Gathright. Number 53, Aaron Inman. And number 74, Buster Overstreet.
I'm glad you got the larger version of this roster. I'm having
Yeah,
a rough
had to bring up my
to see
iPad,
this.
man. This sheet here is not doing it for my eyes either. Looks like we got a new QB in as well.
Justice Law is back in again. Or no, I'm sorry. That is, that is Justice Law. Having to take it from their own end zone. Gets it out quick to the side.
Gets at the rolling hazard right there. One of those guys I talked about. Transfer out of California. Can't remember which school it is, but a really speedy guy, very smooth in his route running, very explosive. And then just another guy to watch out for this upcoming fall for sure.
Law getting the call in. Quick little audible shifts into a little bunch set of wide receivers here on the near side. They hand off, and I believe that's Robinson.
Right there.
Rushes forward for a gray team first down.
Tackle there from J.T. Hawk, another transfer guy. Coach Ford raved about him, especially, too, as he came in. He's a leader, puts in a lot of effort on the field, helps hold his guys accountable, takes care of everybody. Just one of those guys you really need for your locker room, but can come out there and also make some plays on defense and on special teams.
Law rolling out to his right, has to cut back in around the defender. Throws to the sideline, and that's out of reach of Hazard. Tell you what, he's just so shifty back there.
Yeah, did a great job, being elusive, evading the defender right there. Steps up outside the pocket, tries to fit it in a pretty tight window to roll in up on the sideline and just sails out of bounds on the throw.
I think that's what I'm looking forward to most from Law, is seeing this decision-making improve over time. You know, he's had the fall, now he's getting the spring to kind of go through that. He can look at his individual film, and I know he's been hard at work in there trying to figure out the things that he needs to learn to improve on in this next season.
Yeah, a really good evaluation period for him and you know, for the coaches to assess. You know, they have a lot of decisions to make when it comes to this upcoming season. You're getting Jagger back, of course, and you know, a lot to be decided right there. I know they want to maybe add to the QB room a little bit, just as far as the depth and making sure they're taking care of themselves, especially when you're getting deep into postseason. You want to make sure you have the bodies and have guys who can add to your room. So yeah, a big spring for him. Just to he's a confident guy. You know, he's a very outgoing guy. Justice is he's so funny. And he's a great football player too. He has all the talent in the world. So just want to continue to see him build on that. Not put too much pressure on himself.
We had there was a mass comm. He's a mass comm student as he steps back and now forward, and he takes off nothing but green grass in front of him and picks up well more than a first down as Justice Law. But he's a mass comm student here, and so we were in some sort of mass comm meeting, and they were introducing some of the full-time staff as well as some of the teachers, and I got introduced, and of course, all the mass comm students that work with us that are working the cameras and the behind the scenes right now, they all cheer and whatever for me a little extra loud. And then Justice Law he does my touchdown call in front of everybody and started laughing. And he is just goofy. He walks around with a certain charisma, a lot of life in Justice Law, and certainly has that on the football field as well in between the white lines. Handoff to number 22 in gray. It's Ryan Horn.
Good job from Justice on that last play, on that drop back tackle. Get to be on the outside a little bit right there. Justice makes a very decisive decision, steps up in the pocket and just takes off as soon as he sees a lane right there, picks up a nice first down, gets a lot of yards, and that's just what you want to see out of a younger quarterback, but also a guy who can use his legs. Get out there and use it, make decisive decisions. Work the offense and take what the defense gives you.
Law has Horn in the backfield. Once again, a trio of receivers and a bunch set right here on the near side. One man up top solo. 2nd and 11 following that tackle for loss. Law looks over, rolls, has to jump, stop, and throw to Horn. What a throw and catch from Law. My goodness, talk about making it look easy.
Nice little dash right there. Try to throw off the defense a little bit. Very nice jump pass back inside. Good job from Horn to adjust, pick up the catch.
Still made up yardage in that, and they were all over him from the jump.
It's funny. That's funny. Oh, no, good play from Justice right there. Good play from Ryan to pick up some yards on that one, too.
And I know we talk about our energy guy, Coach Atwood, all the time, but I tell you what, he was already full of it down there for the spring game. I could hear him barking from about a mile away.
Much to be expected.
Man across in motion. Got 2 guys on him. Law throws over the middle, has his big tight end rumbling down the sideline, and he's taken out number 88 in gray. That is Jack Busey.
Good play design right there from the gray team. You got some crossers. You got the tight end leaking out right there, faking the block. Nice delay. Justice does a good job buying some time in the pocket, gets it out to Jack Busey, and that's a big tight end right there.
Jack Busey making some huge plays last season as well. He's one of those guys, you could get it to. He's always got some yards after catch, the big man, not afraid to mix it up.
Yeah, he's a stud for sure, man.
Gray team moving forward with purpose here. One of the longer drives we've seen today. Law surveying, throws over the middle, and that's off the receiver's hands. And to the hands, I believe, of Gerard Johnson.
Yep. Once
again, 2 interceptions for Gerard Johnson, 6 points for the Maroon team.
It's a good job from the offense there. executing that offense. Defense did a good job taking the bubble away. Justice gets to his second read right there, goes inside. Looks a little hot, but also the sun gets in the way of the receiver.
Yeah.
Barlow right there goes off of his hands. And if you're throwing a pass like that and he can't see it that well over the middle, it's danger right there. And doesn't help his quarterback out. And Gerard comes up with another big play.
That's one of those that I hate that gives the quarterback an interception.
Yeah.
I despise that stat, but it'll sadly go as an interception with an asterisk for Justice Law here.
Receivers should have interception
I agree.
stats too, man.
I agree.
Come on, we got to change the game. What are we doing?
Then it would almost have to be almost like an error in baseball. It'd almost have to be a judgment call from the statter.
Yeah.
I suppose maybe that's what they're trying to eliminate.
Got Trent Cutright out there this time around at QB.
He rolls out to his right now. He's going to tuck it and run it. He's out and running and gets out after a big gain, a first down up to the 39. Gray team had a pretty good drive before it was stopped by Gerard Johnson. We'll see if this Maroon offense can get it going. No touchdowns yet for either squad.
Another guy out there on that Gray team, just awesome to see back out healthy, playing some good ball. Jacoby McGill, who could be a really good player for us this year. And he didn't get to play a lot last year, even though he's still back.
Yeah.
It's just those injuries are tough, and you want to give it time. We had a lot of depth on the defensive side, especially in his position too. So you don't want to rush it in his situation either.
Way to roll with it, and I believe that's Jarrett Finn. Nope, I'm sorry, that is Jackson McClendon. Job from Cutright there. Able to slip that first tackle and get it out to McClendon.
See who else we got out there. Got number 5, Josiah Harris.
It's a guy that got a lot of time defense last year. Handoff to number 17 in Maroon. That is JT Hawk. Nope. He's listed as a DB, but nope. 47. Gosh. Jalen Brock. Number 47. That first number is always hard to see if they've only turned so far toward you. Trey Bass getting a couple snaps here. 3rd and short. Rolling out. Cutright going to air it out. Has a man, and he underthrew it. There is a flag back here. Perhaps roughing the passer. It was in the area that Cutright was down.
Looks like that'll be on Zeke Carwile, if so.
But he underthrew it. Did you see who was in coverage?
Joe Harris.
Harris.
Yeah. Got his hands in there a little bit on the underthrown ball. Receiver couldn't come back to it. Caleb Austin.
Yep, a late hit on the quarterback. So a first down for the Maroon offense as they move the ball up. Now into the Grays territory.
1 minute until halftime.
Approaching halftime, so they're going to have to hurry things up here if the Maroon side wants to knock in a touchdown before they trot off the field for halftime. 43 seconds. Cutright has an empty set. Brings Tiemann across in motion. Fakes over to Tiemann. He's rolling now to his left, cutting in, out, and around. He's taken out of bounds after picking up a first. He gets to the 25-yard line. Still a running clock, though.
Good job from Trenton right there, using his legs. See the lineman downfield picking up blocks, doing a good job getting in the way. He reads it out pretty well, picks up a nice first down. Clock is running. You'd love to see them get the play in and take a shot here in the end zone before halftime.
Maybe they have to hurry up.
They'll let them get one off here. I'm sure they will.
Looks
yeah.
like they're going to just let him run the play.
Ooh.
He pulled from Bass, and honestly, I'm not sure if Bass had it clear or if the defense was just able to read that Cutright had kept it. But either way, Cutright chopped down. And it looks like they're just going to go ahead and maybe finish this drive.
I respect it.
Of course, see, I'm not sure if number 34 in gray, if Zeke Carwile would have gotten there in time on the handoff if he would have just let Bass take it. But either way, second and long here as they're behind the sticks. Quick throw on the slant to number 6 in Maroon. That is Trey Berry. When it's your spring game, you get to make up the rules a little bit. So
Yeah.
this is one of those moments. If you were on the basketball court as a kid, you might be counting down. If you missed the shot, then somehow magically you got the rebound with 3 seconds left, even though you shot it for a buzzer beater.
Yeah, nice to see Trey Berry out there as well, a guy that came in late last fall.
Bass shifting in and around, back around. Cutright going to come out and try to lead the way. Bass able to pick up a first down, and I tell you what, he can stop on a dime. He had a lot of motion headed towards out of bounds, and he was able to plant both feet and cut back in.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks healthy. It looks shifty right now, and that's what you want to see. There's a great job right there. Good job from the QB to get a block and get on Brandon Hurd right there and make it difficult for him. And Bass just keeps it alive and continues to try to make a play. Really good run right there from Bass.
Chains are down, 1st and goal. So he got it to the 9-yard line. He ran probably about 30 yards for that 10-yard gain. Cutright, checking right, now flushed out of the pocket. He's rolling around. He's just going to let it loose.
Smart.
Over to the sideline. That's a smart play from Cutright as opposed to taking the sack.
Defense brings some heat, gets in the backfield on that first down, makes things difficult for Trent. But does a good job getting out the pocket a little bit and just buying some time just to get it away for a throwaway. See 2 QBs right here, Justice Law and Trent Cutright. Put together 2 good drives using their legs.
Cutright's going to float one back corner and couldn't get it. Good effort there. I believe that's 13. Yeah, that's number 13 in Maroon. Pharaoh Davis, the tall, lanky, lengthy wide receiver. Good coverage there from the defense, though. It's number 14 in gray. That is Brandon Hurd out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Another transfer guy from this spring who just came in, getting reps out there in corner. Coach Beatty told me he's had a really good spring himself and just another one of those guys adding to the DB room. He has a lot of eligibility left anyways, too, so they're not in a rush to, push him out there, but he's showing up a lot and making some good plays and makes a really good play right there in coverage in a tough position, still getting his hand back there.
Fakes the handoff. Trey Bass gets about to the line of scrimmage.
Tough play right there from Zeke in open space. We just saw how tough of a guy that is to tackle in open space, and Zeke does a really good job right there. You can see him excited about making that play. Huge play on a big down for them right there.
So now once again we got a dry fire kick. Oh, maybe not. Looks like the offense is going to stay out there for 4th down and go for it. They were sending out Colin Freitas for the kick, but he's going to walk back off. As in Coach Russell's style. Go for it here on 4th down. What do you have to lose, I suppose?
Yeah, he's aggressive. And you always got to respect it. I do love aggressive coaches. Put faith in their guys, put faith in the offense, put faith in his play calling as well. Confident.
Trips out here on the near side. 2 wide, empty set. He's getting... Woo! able to get the ball off just as he was being hit from the blind side there. Number 11 in gray, that was Miles Wilkes. It was coming off the edge, floated it over the zone. You can see it a little wonky. Good coverage still on the backside there from the man in gray.
Yeah, honestly, beautiful coverage right there. Lets him over top, goes directly underneath. Has enough length to make a play on that, enough athleticism, uses the back of the end zone as leverage. Really good defense right there.
Actually going to go ahead and have a field goal attempt from Freitas.
I mean, he's just daring the QB to make that tight throw at the back of the end zone. That's a tough one to make.
Freitas' kick up and good. Freitas getting a little bit of work in here in the spring game. Kind of just waiting here to see what the deal's going to be.
Should be overtime, right? Overtime, halftime, right?
It should be, but I'm looking at the schedule, and I think they're getting ready to recognize our intramural basketball champions, which,
oh my gosh,
Coach Russell starred on that team, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, he did. Coach Russell and Coach Brown. They're both on that team. Coach Russell, Coach Brown. I believe Max Warb is on that team. Looks like a few more guys coming out there. Looks like Trenton was out on the team.
Did they end up beating Lindsey Wilson?
I don't know, honestly. I'm sure they didn't. I heard Lindsey puts a lot of their JV guys.
Way to have faith.
I don't know. I mean, I think we would have beat them.
I know they got to take on Lindsey Wilson, Lindsey Wilson's intramural champions as well, in a little bit of a battle of Highway 55 as they get recognized there for their effort. And as they air this trailer, Doc, for Lady Tiger basketball documentary is coming up. They're in their 50th season is what they're approaching on, so our hardworking sports information department, and I know they've teamed up a little bit with the communications department as well to make this happen. You're going to see a lot of old footage in this. You're going to see a lot of interviews, a lot of one-on-ones with Coach Wise herself, with Coach Ginger High Colvin, of course. You're going to see a lot of the history of this program, a lot of former Lady Tigers. I know some current ones have been interviewed as well. This is just going to be a heck of a piece just to show this documentary what's been happening among a program that's only had 2 head coaches all time, and such success that the Lady Tiger basketball program has had. This is going to be one heck of a documentary when it airs. They've been working hard on it. There's so much old footage. I'm sure they'll probably post this documentary trailer as well. So be tuned in to social media to take a look at that. A lot of cool things coming out from our sports information department.
Yeah, just one of the cooler things, and such an amazing program. Sorry, I'm just here sitting here watching this documentary. I don't even know what to say at the moment, just watching.
I know to see a young Ginger High Colvin in some of these games, you get to see footage of her playing, and just so much cool stuff going on, honestly. Of course, you get to see just such a legendary coach that started this program with Coach Wise. So much credit, so many Lady Tigers changed. Of course, Lady Tiger Lauren Lee is taking taking one of her waivers that they've been giving out, and she's got an extra season to play, and she's headed to the NCAA to play Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne. So shout out to Lauren Lee. Go make us proud up there in the NCAA. And we're actually going to go ahead and step away. Taylor County is getting a dance performance. Taylor County Middle School, High School, and the Tigers dance teams. We're going to go ahead and actually take a step away before the Tigers have a dance off themselves. And we're going to take a break and give ourselves a break. We'll step away for probably about, I'll say, 3-4 minutes? Let's do 4 minutes, and we'll come back. If we have to pull it out early, then we will. But we'll step away, take a 4-minute break, and we'll be back with coverage of spring game here on the CU Sports Network.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
I debate all day. It's what I do. But there are some things that are undebatable, like your mental health. I was in a dark place when my brother passed away in a car accident. I was depressed in ways I never imagined. I reached out, and my sisters came, my pastor, my therapist. They helped me get through it. I found that the more I spoke up, the healthier my mind became. When you love your mind, you can go so much further. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like, they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff,
Mama!
like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Women are bad with money. That's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now, we've got something to say.
Save it. It's time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Until we're no longer 80% more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
Save it. The falsehoods, the feelings of fault.
Then, the funds. Learn how to save for your retirement at wesaysaveit.org.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Remember the best planned 90 minutes of your life? Or that surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him. Every day he's hungry for something. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then it kind of starts to work itself out.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Thank you.
A place to make my own, a place that I call home, this place that I call home.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Welcome back here to the spring game here at Finley Stadium and Citizens Bank Field. The Tigers' gray team is up by 1 point, 43-42 over the Maroon squad. Took a little bit of a longer 4-minute break, but things got delayed with some of the dance performances. So now we have a Tiger dance-off. Smurf Robinson is the defending champion. And just they've got their nicknames on here, so this is not me. This is their nicknames that are on the sheet. It is defending champion Kamarian Smurf Robinson and Justice the Baby Law representing the gray team, and Christian C.D. Davis representing the maroon. So,
Colin, I didn't hear a word you said. The Titans are on the clock right now. Titans on guys, I'm a Titans fan, by the way, so Titans are on the clock, bro.
So if you want to feel bad for Khalil, you should, because he's endured a pretty rough last season.
Man, like
thankfully,
last
he had some
seasons, bro.
Thankfully, he had some Tiger football to try to make up for some of it.
Last 3 seasons have been brutal. But yes, Tiger football, stand up. Tiger up.
So now these Tigers out here are going to hit their dance off. Now, I'm assuming that these guys have been practicing this week.
They look nervous.
I know. They knew what they had to be involved in here.
This don't look like no dance. It looks like they're dancing together.
Uh-oh. Okay. They're waiting for their... Okay. Is this a little... Oh, all right.
I think it's a TikTok trend.
I was about to say, is this TikTok dance? I think it is. A little backflip action. Man, Coach Russell did not like it. He's running out with the thumbs down. The whole Maroon squad is giving thumbs down. I'm not sure. That's a little bit of a shabby performance there from the defending champ. He showed off a little bit of athleticism there. And now you've got Christian C.D. Davis. He's up doing his thing. Baseball game going on over there as well. At the same time, I'm sure they're loving this music being blasted over there while they're playing. No runs on the board for either team right now. They're in, I believe, the top of the third in their second game. This is a lot more of a dance-off here.
No one's going against him. Oh, okay. Justice said, I don't want that. Justice didn't want that.
They got a lot more of an applause from the crowd that time.
Anyone from the gray team? Bro, it's hit. Brutal.
That's a brutal takedown. He even got dapped up by some members of the gray team, so. A little respect being shown from the two squads, so I think we have the winner here. A little bit of a couple sad claps from the audience for the gray squad. The Maroon squad got a lot more of a cheer there, so the Maroon squad will pick up a point and tie this thing up at 43 following their dance-off.
I can't believe they actually made Cam Ward's NFL comparison Patrick Mahomes. Oh, my gosh. We want to talk about lofty expectations. Sorry, guys. You're just going to get some of it from me, all right?
Your focus is drifting on me.
Sorry, the dance-off just didn't do it for me. My bad.
Well, we're going to do musical chairs. I'm not sure how long musical chairs is going to last, but we're not going to keep coverage through musical chairs. So I'm going to go ahead and say let's give it about a 5-minute break for musical chairs, and we'll be back on the CU Sports Network.
Enjoy.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like, they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Women are bad with money. That's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now, we've got something to say.
Save it. It's time to save ourselves
By saving our money.
Until we're no longer 80% more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
Save it. The falsehoods, the feelings of fault.
Then, the funds. Learn how to save for your retirement at WeSaySaveIt.org.
With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Titans have selected Cam Ward.
Tighten up, baby. Picks in. Tighten up.
So hopefully he is the
now it's Tiger up.
The change that Tennessee needs down there. Because I'm tired of seeing Khalil sad every Saturday that I see him.
Oh, the Jaguars traded up. Oh, my gosh. Sorry. All right, we're done. This is not NFL coverage. This is Tiger Up coverage. Tiger Nation.
So this offensive versus defense competition will be lights out. I'm not exactly sure what the lights out drill is. Do you know?
Heard of it. No.
Never heard of it?
Never heard of lights out.
The first one will be Malachi Embers against Braden Fountain. This will be a first for both of us. It almost looks like they are explaining the rules. So they're going to run around, and is this almost like a little bit of a makeshift Oklahoma drill? Or a board drill?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's kind of what it looks like. They'll start facing the opposite direction, turn around the cone, and then try to make the tackle. So now it'll be Darius Willis Jr. versus Gabe Maurer.
Darius Willis.
Is Darius Willis from Lindsey Wilson?
Yes, he is.
I thought the name looked very familiar. That's a Lindsey Wilson starter.
Standout corner. Gonna have a big season for us. Gets trucked right there. So not a good look. Not good timing on that one, guys.
Man, we're announcer jinxing it in the spring game.
My bad. Sorry,
Ladies and
Darius.
gentlemen. No disrespect to Darius Willis there, of course.
I still had a really good spring.
He's been
still a great player, guys.
He's still a very good player, standout over there. Of course, he's going to have to kind of fill the role of Obi Wilson, who we lost on the defense. He stepped in and was a tremendous corner player for us, lockdown, dare I say.
And that's where you also want to see C.J. Cutcliffe get back healthy. Another season. Another offseason just to get healthy and get back in the swing of things, too. Of course, he came back last season, played some, still made some plays, gave up some plays here and there, playing with that knee brace as well, too. But this time around, I think C.J. Cutcliffe getting back healthy. Of course, you got Darius Willis out there and some other guys who have really come up to play this spring. I think will be a really big deal for us.
Now it's T.J. Peaks versus Tyler Nelson. Last one was Montel Richardson versus Luke Lehue. This one, T.J. Peaks versus Tyler Nelson. And the Maroon side gets the better of that one. T.J. Peaks
explosive, too.
Puts a point on.
Explosive and gets low on that. It's a tough one.
Puts a point on the board. Gunnar Hollis versus Jarrett Finn. A little battle of the halfbacks here. I guess Gunnar Hollis isn't a halfback, but
linebacker, but close.
Linebacker, yeah. HB, LB. What's the difference in one letter, right? And a little friendly rivalry going on here between Coach O and Coach Beatty. Coaches letting each other hear it a little bit as they walk away from the sides.
And that's the fun of a spring game, too. You're with your team for a little bit, but this is a really good time just to, talk a little trash to them, talk a little smack, have fun with it. At the end of the day, they're always going to come back together.
Playing a new Tiger Tradition video on the scoreboard.
Man, whose voice is that?
Oh, my gosh. I think I know that voice. The voice comes from right next to me. Khalil Baker. Got the perfect voice for voiceover work.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
I
it.
tell you.
Really fun to do. Always
See,
glad when they ask me.
you get these important Tiger tradition videos, and I voice over the president's touchdown calls. I tell you what.
That's a big deal. That's a big
He keeps
deal.
finding years of eligibility. I don't know how he's doing it. But I tell you what, he's played several years here. His first year, he played as a wide receiver. His second year, played as the quarterback.
That was a great throw.
Was.
Definitely wasn't edited to where, yeah, that was definitely him throwing that ball. Can't convince me otherwise.
Thankfully, from the video board, I don't know that you could tell that close. But now they're trying another new tradition to move along. It is a new Tiger sing-along. So they're going to do Hey Jude. I know at one point they were going to try to do Living on a Prayer sing-along as well. We'll see if we ever get to that. I'm not sure, but
yeah, I think it's cool to do. You know, you want to set traditions, and that's something that means a lot to Coach Russell, and approaching his third year, and wants to, leave a mark and really build up this program. And I think they're heading in the right direction. So just wanted to do cool things like this, and get people involved.
They got some good crowd participation going on as well down here. Everybody got their rally towels out, going back and forth. Of course, it'll probably look even cooler whenever we get a packed Saturday crowd here at Finley Stadium.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Because our first home game, I'm going to call it, ladies and gentlemen, we will be 2-0 when we return home to Finley Stadium, looking for a 3-0 start against Pikeville.
Amen, brother. See,
got to speak powerful.
Looks like we got Cope back out there at quarterback for the gray team.
Gotta turn on this light in here. It's getting awful dark.
There's got a screen going out to Roland Hazard. Not much there for the Tiger offense. Number 99, Hussein Guy. Could be a really big player for us this upcoming fall. Thinking to play a whole bunch last season, but this could be a really good season for him to make his mark on the defensive line. Losing a few guys on that defensive line, very important guys. You got Terry Brown, of course, out there. You got Tank. Just missing some guys, but that's a good opportunity for him to step in and really show out.
The D-line was so important last season. Caused a lot of disruption. Able to get it out before he's hit and moving up quickly upfield. 89, I believe, in gray. That's Jarrett Finn.
Cool little tight end flat screen right there. You fake the screen on the right side, come back to your left, get him out there in the flats. I really like that play call there. Good job from him picking up that first down too, running hard. Again, he's gonna have to step in and be one of those guys that help out in the offensive end as far as bringing some depth to that tight end room.
Cope takes the snap, throws. That one batted around. It hits the turf. That's number 18 in Maroon on the deflection. It's Trevin Williams.
Little tight end pop right there on that little RPO. Try to get the tight end out there. It's there for him. Defense does a good job. He's getting tackled at the same time as throwing the ball, but defense does a good job getting the hands up. Coming up with an incomplete pass.
I tell you what, getting to watch all these weapons as well. Everybody getting a little taste of the action just makes you super excited about next season and what's to come. Of course, you're not even seeing some of the main guys play a whole lot, but it just recognizes as one's drifted down and just out of the reach. Good deflection there as number 1 in Maroon, Darius Willis, was in coverage there.
Yeah, man-to-man coverage right there. Bump and run. You see Willis, pretty good coverage, pretty good throw right there from Cope as well. Dimitri isn't able to come up with the catch.
Dimitri Bowe's got some time last season as well, but a little less work than he probably would have liked. Of course, he's sitting behind a super deep wide receiver room. I mean,
extremely deep.
A lot of these guys that you're seeing playing this year, like the Pharaoh Davises, the Dimitri Bowes, a lot of those guys. Of course, Ashton Walker got a lot of time as well, but, you know, they were playing behind those guys like Andre Seiler, like Luke Shepperson, Nate Monroe, who came in from Bluefield on his senior season. And those guys were just so good. That one, a little miscommunication probably as he throws behind number 17, Chris Thornton. A lot of these guys are going to start to see some time out there on the field and show what they can do a little bit more.
Yeah, a little off on that throw right there. Throws it behind him. But, yeah, you talk about that receiver room. This is a lot of opportunity this spring for a lot of those guys that, you know, came in last year or that have been here, haven't got a lot of playing time to really step in and step up. And, you know, of course, you know, we're in the age of college football where you're always going to be looking at the transfer portal, but you want to be one of those guys to give them, you know, a reason not to look at the transfer portal and try to, you know, fill that position. So, you know, I'm happy for the guys as far as being able to get opportunity. That's what you want to come here for, as far as winning, but also being able to play and contribute to your team here. So, you know, hopefully they can get in there and do what they need to do to, you know, get on that field for fall.
And I'll tell you what, too, once again, they went – last year, whenever we talked to Coach Russell, it was the emphasis on, you know, what kind of guys did you bring in? And it was guys at the NAI level that were super accomplished on their team and several that were already from the Mid-South Conference and doing the same here again this time. And it's just one of those deals where you're getting guys that know this level of football. They're well aware of the teams that they're playing, and they're already accomplished at it. So you're already bringing them in and almost just being able to plug them in and expect great play from them.
Ooh.
Beautiful slip there from number 87 in Maroon. That is Jackson McClendon.
Good job from
on a
Zach.
Big slip.
Yeah, good job from Zach right there. Get it out quick over the middle. Safety. Joe Harris is a little late on that one, but delivers a nice hit, gets him down. Yeah, man, to talk about when you're saying as far as getting, you know, guys from different, you know, areas, we're getting people from, you know, Lindsey Wilson, Ben Banks, Darius Willis, you know, get a few guys from Concordia, which is a really good football program that was unfortunately shut down, of course. You get Chase Maynard from there. You get Jake Smith from there as well, too. So, you know, we get a lot of different guys with a lot of different experience, and that's what we'll be looking for as far as getting some more guys in from this transfer portal, of course, too. But experience is going to help you in this day of age as well as you build up your young guys and help them develop and get to the players they need to be at. So as far as being in a good position, we have a nice balance of things. We have a really good experienced coaching staff who knows how to develop and pour into their guys on and off the field as well. So I love what the program's heading at. You know, you got Coach Russell trying to establish roots and traditions and really be involved in this community and this program too.
They hand the ball off to Smith for about a 6 to 7 yard gain, bring up a 3rd and medium here. And you can see the fruits of his labor paying off. Of course, you know, you go to the packed crowds from last year, the atmosphere that Finley Stadium brought.
Yeah.
You know, you can think back to the Georgetown game, even though it maybe didn't end the same way that you wanted it to. I mean, that atmosphere was absolutely electric. I can't remember a time. I've never seen a time that it was like that. And there was a couple times, you know, I stuck my headset out of the window trying to capture even more of what was coming from the crowd.
Yeah, it's something I'll remember for a very long time. And, of course, it's just great to get back to the winning side of things and having experienced that since the, you know, Coach Thomas days back when I was here in that realm too, 2014, 2017 area, who's also here today, Coach Thomas, you know, doing well, you know, he's healthy, still here in Campbellsville. You know, just an awesome guy who really was a big part of me being here, of course, too, but, you know, helped me develop and, you know, grow into the young man I am today, right? So definitely thankful for Coach Thomas and glad he's here, glad he's still a part of the program. Of course, Coach Gribbs is here, who's who's coaching here, who's a big part of his family as well too. So
Young?
Why would you say that? What are you trying to say?
I've heard we travel a lot together.
It depends on who you ask, man. Honestly, it depends on who you ask. I was around a person yesterday who was like 2 years older than me, and it's like, man, you're so young, you're a baby. And I'm around my interns every day in the office, and I'm like, man, you're so old man. Like, what are you doing here?
We travel.
Grandpa,
I would say we travel a lot together, and let me tell you, I've heard you get out of my car.
It hurts. My knees hurt right now. That's the football in me, though. That's not. That's not old age. That's football.
Very fair. The mileage that I put in during my time here, the knees feel it every day when I wake up.
And you're younger than I am.
Yeah.
What are you, 23?
Yeah, 24.
24, yeah.
24.
Sheesh. I forget that you're that much younger than me, too. I always forget.
And I'll tell you what's crazy. I threw my back out last week, and at the ripe age of 24, I had to get into the chiropractor quickly.
Oh, yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, I told you, it's only going to get worse from here.
It's sad. It's crazy. I had to limp around all week last week, and it's unfortunate.
I told you when you told me that, just wait until you sneeze and you pull something in your back. It's brutal. And it's a crazy realization.
So I believe that's Hazard back in there in the Wildcat. He takes off, hands it off to Law. Law coming around. He's pulled, and he tries to sling it. And I think they'll call it a forward pass.
Ooh, Tyler Neal on the play right there. Doesn't even give Justice a chance. Good job from him. Could have had a Jack Busey coming across in there wide open as well. Definitely who Law was looking for.
I tell you what, our linebackers, even dating back to last year, a couple guys that you think about that we've probably lost, Noah Steen being one of those guys, but just the ability. Did we lose Noah Steen?
I believe, or is he coming back? I believe he's back. Definitely Jeremiah Pauling, one of those guys.
Yeah.
Miles Butler, one of those guys.
Linebackers that can cover east to west just as well as they can cover north to south. They're so hard to come by. Our linebacker room was just so deep. Nobody really does it better than the Tiger defense. It's just so hard to even find the edge against this defense. And Law on the carry, he's tripped up and taken down by Willis.
I can't remember how much eligibility Steen had, but even if he is, out of here, again, one of those guys that added depth to the linebacker room, but man, he's a thick thumper type of linebacker, but the speed will definitely surprise you as far as being
school
able to,
wore the collar and everything,
The speed he had will definitely surprise you, just being able to get the sideline to sideline, get downhill, cover the running back, get downhill on a sweep or a toss. He's really one of those good linebackers. And, of course, Jeremiah Pauling, probably my favorite player last year just to watch, if I'm being honest. Just, did everything for this Tiger defense. He set the edge. He rushed a passer. He played middle linebacker, outside linebacker, covered slot receivers, covered tight ends. Like, he did it all for this team and somehow still missed an all-conference, nod and mention, which is insane to me. Absolutely insane to me. But, again, one of my favorite players last season and just did a great job. And one person on the defense that we're going to be missed because he also was able to, free up other guys. Coach Ford talked a lot about it. With him being able to play so many positions and so many different roles on the defense, he freed up guys like Ellis Reed to go out there and just, play individual spy defense on someone, just watching someone, keying someone. So, or even play on the edge a little bit himself too, which is a very versatile player. So, that's someone we'll miss. And, we got guys who we think can, help in that and fill that role that we'll be missing with him gone. So I'm excited to see those guys as far as the season when that comes up, especially too. But we'll be missing a lot of guys that we're just a part of. I think it was when it comes down to it, was a very special team.
Yeah.
I think honestly, it feels special now, but I think it'll only get more special as the time goes on as far as what that team meant to this program, as far as getting it back to a winning mentality. 9-2, such an amazing season, especially too. So I think that team will, go down as one of the better Tiger teams, especially. So.
They had one of the best starts, I believe, since 1990.
Yeah, the 90s, yeah.
Since the 90s.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't remember the specific year offhand. You think I'd be a better announcer, but I'm not.
Good play.
It's been a minute since I've had the privilege of being able to chat up Tiger football.
Yeah, and then it's just great to, be here and, be able to talk about some ball and, always talk to you about it. Like, I would love to just do this, like, every single day, rest of my life. Like, this is always a good time, and, it's always better when you got a great program to talk about like this, and, guys who go out there, have fun, love the game, and coaches who are quite the same, too. So it just makes it easier.
Cut right with some speed out there, able to get back to the original line of scrimmage, I believe, to make it 3rd and well, actually, he got out a little bit ahead of it, so nope.
Hey, they're figuring it out. They'll figure it out.
Chain gang got me.
They'll get it sooner or later.
Got me a little messed up. I was correct the first time. It'll be 3rd and 10. 1:38 left on this running clock here in the 3rd quarter. A tie ball game between the two, 53-53. I tell you what, I like what I'm seeing from Cut right here. He seems, I don't want to say undersized. He just seems a little
thinner.
A little thinner.
It's just thinner.
And, makes you a little nervous when he gets out there in open space running and taking some of those hard hits. But I tell you what, he's shifty. He can move with speed. A throw on the run here out to number 2 in Maroon, Ashton Alker. And that's a gorgeous throw from Cutright.
Great ball from right there on the run, going to your left, getting out the pocket. And that's kind of what we've seen from these two quarterbacks today. Well, we've seen more than 2, of course, but
yeah,
we have Trenton and also Justice who can go out there and extend and use their legs. And you see how much of a bind that puts a defense in right there. You got to account for that guy. You got to play longer in coverage, longer than the 3-4 seconds you're expecting to. And it's hard to cover a guy for that long. And we just saw that right there. He does a great job making the play. And he's really doing a good job on his drive so far in the spring game.
Cutright pulls. He's being chased down and brought down. Number 44 in gray. That is Luke Lehue, the linebacker out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, comes up with a massive sack.
And I think that's one of the things you were just talking about as far as his size and being able to play through stuff like that. Now, again, he's a little thinner. Luke was able to get a hold of him right there, and it's a tough play for him to get through as far as Trenton right there. So I think that's when the size and the play strength comes into play.
3rd quarter comes to an end, assuming that they're just going to let them finish this drive out. Cutright has it 2nd and forever and sacked again. That one, number 8. Number 8 in gray, that is Josh LaBella. So now it's really 3rd and forever. Good job just fighting through it.
Sometimes it's always hard to tell, what a quarterback is coached to do, what they're looking at. What's the first read? Is it progression? What are they coached to do in this situation on this specific play right there? Looked like he was indecisive on that play as far as getting the ball out quickly. Wasn't sure where to go with it. Was in the pocket too long. Pocket collapsed on him right there. So always difficult situations, what those QBs are going through. I know, sometimes like fans get mad about it and whatnot. Like sometimes we just don't know, and it's kind of difficult for them in that situation. And not every play is going to be perfect, but right there, defense does a good job in coverage and showing them different looks and getting a good sack on that one.
Men's track and field team out there celebrating their 2024 indoor and outdoor national championships. Big congratulations to those guys. And, of course, I believe that some national champions on our women's side as well that are out there. The men's team won overall, and we had some individual women's national championships, as you can see right there. Big congratulations to those guys who have really brought together a winning program. They compete week in and week out. I'll send a lot of people to NAI Nationals. Proud of those guys. And ladies?
Yeah, just actually interviewed the track coach today, Coach Ray.
Yeah.
Not today, but earlier this week. I think that released on YouTube today, Inside CU Sports. Just talked to him about this past weekend, Georgia Tech, and they got pin relays. I think they left today for it. Got it this weekend. So.
Oh, they're going to pin relays?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he's putting them in a lot of tough situations as far as some really big crowds and big teams, and he's trying to get out there and get them exposed to all that. And I think that really helps the program as far as seeing those bigger programs and being able to compete with them or see what that looks like and really learn how to step your game up and learn from those people and challenge yourself. So I think it's always good. And I think he's doing a really good job so far in his first year. I've talked to some of the guys on the team, and they've really enjoyed having him. He's more of a chilled, laid-back coach, but he knows what he's doing, and he can coach people up too. So I think track program is heading in the right direction. I think they've got the higher rights, so hopefully we can continue to go in that direction. And
I am so not jealous right now of him. No.
I was heard, he told me 60,000 people?
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, that would be that'll be no matter what happens, they're racing against some extremely good programs.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you right now, we have a relay race happening right now. It's Maroon versus Gray. It's a 4-man relay race. On the Maroon side, you have Pharaoh Davis, JoJo Starks, Aaron Cyrus, and Ashton Alker. And in the Gray team, Roland Hazard, Brandon Hurd, Josiah Harris, and Easton Barlow. And the Maroon team is smoking the Gray team right now. And going for the end, my goodness.
That trip up on the Gray team right there just ruined it. Pharaoh was moving himself.
I tell you what, speaking of relay races, I'm over here talking about pin relays.
Yeah.
These guys running a relay of their own. Maroon squad picks up a point for their victory, but yeah, regardless of what happens, that's going to be a memory of a lifetime for those guys.
No, absolutely.
So best of luck to them as they travel for the pin relays. And we head to the fourth quarter here. The tie of 55-55.
Yeah, they were at Georgia Tech Invitational this past weekend. I think had 2 teams qualify for nationals there. So, again, just more good exposure and just also being able to compete and really compete at a high level as well. So, I think it was maybe a 4x4 and another squad. So,
yeah. Let's talk, while we got a little bit of a break, let's talk about some of our stuff on the CU Sports Network and what you can expect next season. I don't know, you're listening to us right now. You could be a Tiger fan. You could be a parent, a friend, family, whatever you are, a recruit, prospective Tiger watching this. Let's talk a little bit about what we bring to the table in terms of a broadcast team. Of course, for all sports, the sports information department just unmatched, number one in the country, in my opinion, and I don't think it's close. They produce gorgeous, stunning photos every time. Media days, just unlike most at this level.
Yeah.
They produce hype videos. They produce a lot of things, behind-the-scenes coverage of their program as well. Highlight videos posted right after the game, usually.
You got to follow the social media.
Yes,
Instagram,
follow
Twitter,
Campbellsville Tigers on social media to just see. I mean, you can go ahead and take a look at their work just from last season at what they can do. They're the best in the biz. And then talk about your show here on the CU Sports Network that airs on our YouTube channel, Inside CU Sports. You go ahead and talk about that, KB.
Yeah, Inside CU Sports, of course, we have a ton of sports here at CU, around 32 sports or so. Colin does a really good job being able to cover football and women's and men's basketball, talking to those coaches, of course. And we get to talk to the other sports and making sure they get exposure.
For sure.
And be able to talk about their program. So we just interviewed Coach Ray for the men's and women's track team earlier this week. And that video released today. We've interviewed softball, we've done golf, we've done all the other sports as well, and got some more coming up as far as tennis and bass fishing, especially too, especially with postseason and nationals coming up for them. So again, just a really good time just to talk about their programs, interviewing coaches, interviewing some of the players, being able to talk about their experiences here as a student athlete, their experience as their background in their sport and what they care about, and interviewed the dance team who got to perform here at halftime, and they had a really good time. I think finished 4th there in Florida, which is a really big deal for them, and 4th in the nation as well. So it's just a really special time here at CU, just being able to talk about the sports, and we have a lot of good things happening here. So.
And a big sack from Jonathan Griffin in 39. I almost said Cale Hagan, just out of muscle memory, but A big number to fill there. Jonathan Griffin coming up with a big chase down sack, much like you'd see from Kel Hagan. So that puts them behind the sticks here on second down. But, yeah, you mentioned it. I get the privilege of being able to cover men's football the way I do, where I host Under Center with Jake Russell. That show airs every Wednesday. We sit down and during the season, we sit down and talk with Coach Russell and several of the other coaches and people around the program that make it happen. Such a fun time. You get to talk about, the last game and get a little insight into the last game, maybe some insight into the next game as well, what you're expecting. Try not to ask too hard of questions, too revealing questions for the game plan. Sometimes they get frustrated.
They
with
wouldn't tell you anyways.
No, they wouldn't tell me. They do a pretty good job of keeping it covered up. But nonetheless, I bring the hard-hitting journalism to Under Center with Jake Russell. And, of course, Matt Payton gets the privilege of doing Tiger Timeout with men's and women's basketball. So they get their coverage with the men's and women's basketball programs. And, of course, we cover football very highly here. As Cope rolls out to his right, throws, has a man, great delivery for the first down, gets it right at the chains at the 50, number 20 in gray. That is Easton Barlow with the first down.
Good ball there from Cope. Good job from Easton Barlow just to come back to that and just to the ball and give his quarterback a good target.
We have we run big productions here, so you can see every home game on the Campbellsville Tigers YouTube channel as a part of Claw United. You'll have our coverage of the game, and you'll get to hear our beautiful voices even when we're on the road. We go out and cover on our radio channel 88.7 The Tiger. Even if you're not in Campbellsville or around the area that gets 88.7, you can get the TuneIn app from the App Store, and you can listen to 88.7 The Tiger from your phone without being in the local area. So that's always good. You get to follow our play-by-play and color coverage of road games as well. So you'll always get Tiger football coverage, whether they're home or on the road. And hopefully we'll get to cover them deep into the postseason next year. I know we're super excited. Thought we would have the chance to. Sadly, on selection night, we were sitting there texting back and forth about how nervous we were and didn't get the chance to go out and cover them in Kansas, hoping to have the chance to do that here next year.
Praying for it.
Yeah.
Praying for it. It'd be great.
I'd love nothing more than to get to call Campbellsville football in the super cold. That one batted down by number 96 in maroon. That is Jake Smith, defensive lineman out of Detroit, Michigan.
That's a transfer from one of the transfers from Concordia who got here this spring. Again, that program shut down, but
also,
very good program.
Also from behind, that is 26, I believe, in maroon. Trevin Griffin getting around and delivering a hit, at least making it a little tougher on the QB. Justice Law steps in now for some reps as they're just past the 50 for second down. (60-56). Gray with a narrow 4-point lead here. Maroon has the box loaded. Law pulls and trying to get it out to 89 in gray for Jarrett Finn.
That's a brutal one.
That one
right
drops.
There. A much easier one to catch than the one he had earlier from Justice Law in the first half. Tough one right there. Again, spring is, it's where you're earning your money, earning your keep, earning that playing time, giving yourself looks. And I know he's upset with himself. You can see when he was approaching the sideline earlier after the drop how upset he was, but just got to rally, come back to it on the next rep.
It looks like they're actually going to punt this one away, I suppose, as Lopez heads out there on 4th down, 4th and 10. So Lopez will have his usual punting duties. And I tell you what, there's nobody in the country that perhaps understands the value of what Lopez brings to the field more than the Tigers. somebody that can absolutely flip field position in a minute and pin an opposing offense back much better than Lopez.
Yeah, it allows you to, be patient. It allows your defense to have some room for error, some wiggle room. Special teams is a big part of the game, and sometimes it's hard to realize that, or people don't always remember that, but special teams is huge, and having a punter who can, make plays like that, and just like you can have a kicker who can, hit it from distance as well, too. It takes pressure off your team all around.
Max Ward out there for the Maroon side, a tie ball game at 60. Hands off, Trey Bass, ever so shifty.
Man, he looks fresh.
My
man.
goodness. I tell you what, he's ready. He got a little hurt last year, and
I just saw Ashton Genty get drafted, and I'm over here watching. I'm not saying he's Ashton Genty, whatever. But man, he just looks fresh. He's moving. He's shifty. He's
good.
Running. Yeah, he looks really good right now, and he just needs to continue to take care of himself, take care of his body this off season, and making sure he's ready for the fall, because he's just going to again, he's a huge part of this program and this team, and getting him back for another year is huge. But just being able to really get things going in the run game, which has always been pretty spotty for us from the past couple of years.
Ward pulls, and 3 Tigers in gray right there to bring him down. Whole host of gray Tigers there. Ward didn't have much time to think on that one. It always makes you a little excited when you get to see this defense as well. I tell you, this defense has just been so good, and under Coach Ford and all those guys, of course, Coach Beatty. I mean, we could go on. We could go on for days about those guys. And another sack brought down. The gray squad is rolling here, dialing up some pressure.
Yes, and speaking of Coach Beatty, defensive play caller for this gray squad, doing a really good job, dialing up pressure, putting pressure on this offense. You got on the offensive side for the Maroon, of course, you got Coach O, you got Coach Atwood, Coach Russell calling plays.
Ward on the hard count, checks.
Looks like they're
to the side.
About to drop 8 here. You got 3 coming in pressure.
Got 3rd down and forever here. Ward steps up into the pocket, throws behind his intended target. He was looking for number 21 in Maroon, TJ Peaks, wide receiver out of Nashville. And they'll have to punt it away, as Lopez will punt from right about the goal line.
Giving it back to this gray squad here, coaching or play calling duties, Coach Brown and Coach Bryson. Having a chance here to win a game or seal the game.
End over end punt for Lopez, and the gray squad will take over on their half of the field. We've yet to see an offensive touchdown, correct?
Yeah. Oddly enough.
So the defense has really been reigning supreme. You would think 66-61 we would have seen an offensive touchdown, but we haven't yet on the way the scoring goes.
I've not heard one of your touchdown calls today. We've seen some really good drives put together from each of the squads. Just haven't been able to cap off the drives with the accent came out.
Country
right there.
came out.
Cap off the drives.
Well, Hoptown.
Oh gosh, get me out of here.
Shout out Hop.
Ooh, watch that.
Law gets hit from behind as he throws. Hits the turf, thankfully for the gray team.
Blindside pressure right there. Law isn't able to feel it. Sees Chris Thornton over the middle, wants to get it to him, but gets hit as he's throwing the ball and comes up with the incompletion there. Good pressure from the Maroon squad, of course.
What stood out to you most here in this spring game?
What stood out to me most, I think just always playing with energy these guys are, of course, you know, especially on the defensive squad. Defensive side is always flying around. You can definitely tell the guys are out there and they're trying to earn spots. You know, they're trying to earn their keep. They're trying to get out here and prove that they can be a part of this team as far as being on the field and contributing, you know, next fall. So I think that's really cool, of course. And it's been nice to see Justice use his legs. Same thing that Trenton used their legs to kind of put together some really good drives and, you know, extend plays. That's been good. You know, so I just think, you know, just what we've always seen from this, you know, this team as far as being able to bring the energy, bring the intensity. And I think defense has really done a good job setting the tone, and that's for both sides, not just one side, but that's Maroon and Gray team.
And I tell you what, sometimes when you watch these spring games, you know, the defense feels a little lackadaisical from other spring games. You know, it almost feels like an NBA All-Star game. It's a little non-existent. But these guys have brought the energy all night. They've played tough. They've not been afraid to mix it up and lay down some hard hits.
Yeah. And shout out the offensive line because they have a tough assignment as far as playing as many reps as they have had to play, you know, having to interchange and, you know, they're having to play both sides. It's a tough assignment. You know, they don't usually play that many snaps. And, of course, their offensive linemen, they're in terrific shape, of course, but it's difficult for them sometimes. What a throw. A little overthrown there, but gets it out there, tries to give his guy a chance there from Justice. But, again, shout out to the offensive linemen, you know, going out there and doing the best they can.
And that's a throw on the move from the 47-yard line that he slings from 1 foot and lands it on the 1 yard line.
Almost, man.
Overthrew as well.
Yeah,
so not too many times do you have to call that one and say that a guy rolling to his – and that's his offhand, too. He's rolling to his left, having to throw across his body to the right.
Yeah, hasn't, you know, connected on the ton. Has had some misses, but even the misses have been, you know, slightly impressive sometimes. Earlier had that connection on the little jump throw into the check down to Ryan Horn, which is really impressive in itself. So like he's put together some cool highlight plays, and you see the talent there.
Law facing a lot of pressure. My goodness, they dialed up some heat. And there was number 39 once again in Maroon, Jonathan Griffin. You better get used to the name the way he's been playing today.
Ooh, that's a tough one right there. You got stunts up front. You got guys coming free. Tough for the offensive line to pick up. You don't have a running back there. He goes out into the flats, and now it's just tough to play quarterback that way, to be honest with you. So Justice try to pick up what he can and get sacked, though.
So they get a turnover on downs. It'll be first down here for the Maroon side. Unless it wasn't a turnover on downs. I'm not exactly sure. I guess they're actually doing a little bit of a 2-minute warning here, as there's a minute 57 left on the clock, and the referees are huddling together. But super excited about what this next year is going to bring for Campbellsville football. I know that they are chomping at the bit. There was a sour taste left in the mouth. You could feel it. Well, you know, I walked around and seeing these coaches on campus, you know, after the season had ended, they were ready. They were already ready to go. They were already just bubbling over film, already going through it in the film room, just dissecting what could have gone different for them, how to improve. And that's been since, you know, November. And, I mean, by the time we hit August, boy, this team will be ready and rolling.
I tweeted this the other day, and I mean it. If my coach isn't psycho, then I don't want any part of it. And I think this, and I mean that in the most flattering way possible. I think this coaching staff is filled with a bunch of psychos. They care about their craft, they care about the game, they care about their guys, and they're hungry. Like, you can tell they're hungry in their recruiting process, they're hungry in their preparation, hungry in coaching their guys up. And for the season to end that way on a sour note in kind of a sense, as far as not making the playoffs and postseason when you felt like you deserved it, they came back immediately right after and started preparing for next season, preparing for the spring, and knew, they're on a mission, knew they had some goals to take care of, and you can just sense that whenever you're talking to them and being around them. So shout out to the coaching staff for sure.
That one was just out of the reach of Jackson McClendon. A good job, honestly, from Max Ward evading pressure for as long as he did, and even able to get that throw off. As Smith to his right. I guess under 2 minutes they'll be stopping the clock now because it sits at 1:52.
Looks like some possible pressure here from those nickel guys on the outside, 44, number 11.
A handoff to Archella Smith, and he's taken out right about at the line of scrimmage, if not lost a yard on that one.
And that's number 41 right there, Chase Maynard, the other Concordia transfer, a guy they feel really good about. Saw his film coming in as well. He is a hard-hitting guy. He's going to bring it all the time. You can take a look at him. He has a good football body. And he's going to be a really important guy for this defense coming into this fall season.
You want to give some love to these offensive linemen. You want to shout them out. I don't have the – I think you have –
Yeah, we got a few more guys out there trying to take a look at it. Looks like number 77, I believe, Nick Alvarez. I'll get to a few more of them after this play.
Ward takes a snap, looking to the far sideline and overthrows his intended receiver.
Tough throw to make from that wide side or to the wide side of the field. You got number 56, Kyle Duvall.
Number 72, Hunter Headley. 73, Therick Gathright. Gathright, I was correct the first time. 74, Buster Overstreet. 78, Dane Montgomery. 79, Nick Finn. Just trying to give some love to all the O-line guys that have been playing for most of this game. Ward brought down on 4th down, and a big sack from number 11 in gray. That is Miles Wilkes, linebacker out of Jonesboro, Georgia.
Oof, yeah, they're bringing it, man.
I tell you what, not too often you get to see Coach Ford down there on the sideline, unless it's a well out of reach game.
Yeah, he just wanted to take it easy tonight. Didn't want to call any defensive plays. Wanted to have Coach Beatty and Coach Atwood take that realm of things too. But just want to take it easy. Right before I came over here, saw him taking some recruits on a tour, showing them the Welcome Center and stuff too. So he said I wasn't going to see any of his blitzes tonight, but we've still seen some. We're still seeing some blitzes.
I mean, you could fool me. If we're not seeing his blitzes, I tell you what, I'd hate to think what they are, because there has been a lot here tonight. Law back in there, quarterback for the Gray, and out of the reach.
Oh,
overthrows Hazard.
Man, yeah, I've been wanting them to take a shot downfield, and that was one right there. It looks like he
had his man. It just
looks like he kind of maybe rushed the throw a little bit. And they were a little off.
It looks like he thought that he was taking the outside and cut in route, and Hazard took the inside and back out. So
there, a little miscommunication right there. Inside release from Hazard, tries to get over top, stack the corner right there, and get back outside, which he beat the guy completely. I just think he and Justice were a little off right there.
Thankfully, that's what you had the spring for. Kind of get together on your connection, and a great batted ball. Number 55 on the Maroon side. That is Jay Arnold. Big batted ball there.
Oof, that rep from Roland was tough, though. Inside release, man.
Tied game at 74. A minute 20 left here in the fourth quarter. Horn has been getting a lot of reps here for the Gray team then at running back. I believe we saw him a little bit last year, if I'm not mistaken. Law, another flip pass. And that one sailing into the turf.
Yeah, trying to do a good job of preserving, you know, Trey Bass and Archella Smith, of course, two guys who are going to be huge for us next season. Yeah, and then the rest of those guys are, of course, Smurf, who is consistent for us as well, too, but more of those guys, Montel Richardson, you know, Ryan Horn, you know, Elijah Robb, who's out, nursing another injury right now, too. So guys who are trying to earn their keep, get some reps out there, and it's a good time for them.
Timeout taken on the field. Tied up at 74, a minute 14 left. In the future, just once again showing how bright it's going to be for the Tigers. I think at the very least, this should be a little bit of a wake-up call to what the Mid-South Conference is going to receive here. Of course, so excited for August 30th. I don't think it could get here soon enough as we hit the road and head to St. Francis. Hopefully I'll be available to be on the call for that one.
Don't stress me out.
Don't stress you out.
Don't stress me out. Congrats, though. But
thank you.
Of course.
Matt Payton may fill in on my shoes for those. Not exactly sure yet.
That'd be interesting. I've never done a game with Matt before.
Gray squad back out there. Here on 4th down. They got to come up with a big conversion, 10 yards. Keep this drive alive. Law calls something out here. Steps back, rolling to his left. He's going to take it himself, pushing upfield. My goodness, Justice Law. Do it yourself as he heads up the field and picks up that first down.
Strong run right there from Justice. You know, strong, big legs. He's using them well. Yeah. Runs through arm tackles right there. Picks up some tough yards. Extends the drive for his team. Tough run right there. Way to get out the pocket. Uses athleticism.
He's one of those guys situationally you're like, oh, go down. I wish you would just go down. But then there's some that you're like, you know, you got the first down just like he did on that one. And Robinson, huge hole. Will he be the first? And the ref slipped as well. But steps out just at the 15-yard line before he could cut it upfield.
And an awesome block right there from Dimitri Bose right there, too, just to free him up from that corner. Nice block. Smurf gets around the edge. Picks up some big yardage. Yeah, I told him that all the time last season. Justice, stop taking those hits. And he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to keep going through it. And, he's a young guy. He's competitive. He's fiery. He's athletic. And he doesn't want to slide. He wants to do that. It's not fun.
Yeah, it's not near as fun. Have the opportunity to break a couple tackles. Embarrass a couple defensive players if he can.
And trust me, he's an athletic guy. I played against him in intramural basketball, and he's out there dunking it and doing whatever he wants that way athletically. So
43 seconds left. They hand it off to Robinson, and he's picked up and dropped. Number 46, Gunnar Hollis, in on the loss. Another timeout taken here. Gray team trying to be the first to score a touchdown here in the spring game. So far, it's just elusive to get into that Maroon end zone.
It's tough, man. Tough sailing for both teams, both offenses right now.
I feel like some of it has been a combined factor. Some of it has been the defense has just been so good, but some of it has been miscommunications from the offense.
Yeah, just not executing all the right way. You know, we see some drop passes, some missed passes.
Won't be too harsh here. It's just the spring game.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm not reading into it too much at all.
No. These guys will get it firing for sure. And I think he just dropped it. It was almost a heck of a catch out there in right center field as the Tiger baseball is still taking on Lindsey Wilson over there. Down by a score of 4-1. I believe they're in the top of the fifth.
First game was so different.
It was so one-sided, yeah. Lindsey Wilson coming back here. Had to try to make a diving catch out there in right center field. Justice Law rolling as his man cuts inside the 10, taken down at the 7-yard line.
Brock Schultz right there on the catch. Nice to see him getting some reps out there. One of my guys, of course, love Brock. Very athletic, tight end himself.
Clock still running, 7 seconds left, and spiked. It's a heck of a spike from Justice Law, and Brock Schultz is fired up.
Intentional.
Couldn't exactly make out what he was hollering about, but
he said you had to get under center.
Oh.
Intentional grounding. Spiked it from shotgun.
Yeah, that'll do it. Just a little bit of a lapse there in mental judgment.
Yeah.
A little mental error.
Justice right there. I think even Brock was telling him to get underneath center when they were lining up, and he was trying to hurry up and whatnot, and just, mental lapse there.
They're actually going to just try to put points on the board, and this is Lopez taking field goal duties. As that brought up 4th down. I know Lopez has been practicing this a bit. Maroon side letting him hear it. This will be the first one I've seen, even though it's a spring game, it'll be the first one I've seen from him. Ooh, it must have been just left. And Maroon wins on the no score points. Drive with no points. Puts them 79-76. As Lopez misses that field goal there to end it. That one was just left. And a tough way to end it if you're the gray side, but I tell you what, for the Maroon side, that'll pump you up a little bit. But super excited as we kind of close coverage here on the spring game. Super excited for the future here. Super excited for next season, and this was just a good taste of what's to come.
Yeah, a really good way to cap off the spring. Spring is a tough time you're getting out there, you get back in the swing of things, but you're out there going and competing, and you're doing your hardest out there to earn your keep. So awesome to see the guys out there competing. Offensive linemen doing a really good job of interchanging, and there wasn't a lot of them too. Had to play both sides, but kudos to them. Kudos to the guys out there just going out there and doing whatever they can for this crowd and this community out here tonight, and coaching staff doing a great job as well too. So awesome just to get a little taste of what the season will look like, and hopefully it'll be here before we know it.
Good payoff for these guys. As I mentioned, August 30th will be the start to the Tigers season. They'll be on the road at the University of St. Francis. That is a noon game, so be sure on that. You can tune into 88.7 The Tiger or download the TuneIn app and just look up 88.7, and you will be able to find us, and me and Khalil will have that radio call, as well as our first home game will be September 13th against the University of Pikeville. That's a pretty fiery, athletic, physical game. We've kind of gone back and forth in some late games here as of late, so it's got all the makings of a good one, especially for the home debut of the Tigers here in Finley Stadium. So go ahead, start making your plans to be here on that date. Pack out Finley Stadium, and we can't wait to see you. And if you can't be here, as always, you can tune in to Claw United on the CU Sports Network, the Campbellsville Tigers YouTube channel, and you can find our coverage of the game for that. Once again, the Maroon team won 79-76 here in the spring game, and you've been following Tiger football on the CU Sports Network.